So now let's go over how you can actually work with the data coming from your analog sensors. So you're going to want to go to the line that these analog sensors are set up for. So to the lines tab, we have some analog sensors set up here on the coffee machine. And then you come across to the sensors tab. Now on this live page, you can see if you've got an energy consumption clip on, you can see the amount consumed. But for the other analog sensors, you are going to have to come across to this sensors tab. Here you can see all of the sensors that are set up on this line. So we've got a power consumption sensor, we've got a vibration sensor. You can see all of these in isolation here next to each other, but also you can unclick this show separated toggle and you can see all of your sensor data overlaid on top of each other with a description down here of which one is each. So here you're getting the blue is your units produced, the green is your power consumption, the red is your vibration. You can zoom on particular periods and see each in relation to each other, because often the real value of working with this data is when you look at all of them combined. It makes it super easy to spot the anomalies or where things are going how you maybe want them to go. So this is how you actually visualize the data, but in some instances you may want to set up alarms when you know the data has left a certain threshold. So let's say on your vibration sensor, your management team or maintenance team might want to get an alarm every time the vibration has gone above or below a certain amount. So to do that, you actually click on this to open that particular sensors page. And then you can come to the alarms page just up here. Now we're working with the alarms, particularly for that vibration sensor. To set up a new alarm, you click on this plus button down here to create the new alarm, and you give this a name. So let's call it the vibration alarm. You give this a description. You might want to give it a more detailed description if it's, your maintenance team are going to be working with it or whatever it may be. You've got the notification threshold. Now what this is the time between notifications. So let's say you've set it up that every time the vibration goes above 50 millimeters a second, you get an alarm. The notification threshold tells you how long before you get another alarm based on that. So it's set at 600 seconds here, which means if it stays above that, your maintenance technicians or management, whoever it might be, will get an alarm every 10 minutes, as long as it stays above it. The snooze duration is currently set to 0, meaning that it can't be snoozed, but you could, if you want to give a kind of a snooze leeway for that, you can set that up. The alarm here is enabled, and here is the configuration of the alarm, where we set up actually why would this alarm go off. The rule for this at the minute is the value is greater than X. Now this means that if the value is greater than, in this instance, let's say 50 millimeters a second, that is going to trigger the alarm. You can also do less than a certain amount. You can also do greater than for this many seconds. So you could say if the value is greater than 50 millimeters a second for 60 seconds, that's when you want to get an alarm, and anything under that doesn't matter. You can also input even more parameters, such as the number of times or a wider time period. Once you set this up, the explainer box will appear below here, giving you an explanation of what that alarm actually is. But right now, let's just keep it simple to say that every time the value goes above 50 millimeters a second on this vibration sensor, you want to get an alarm. The last thing we need to do is set up who is going to receive that alarm. So you add a new subscriber, put in their email address, and you can also input their SMS if you also want them to receive a text alert when this has happened. So now that this is set up, we can click create an alarm, and this alarm is now set up in the system. So every time a vibration goes above 50 millimeters a second, that email address is going to know about it.